Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 419 It's October 1st, 2023. My name is Nathan Reetin. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Roa McFain.
Hey, what's going on?
And we have Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Halloween.
No, that's in 30 days, which I will be here.
It's the month of Halloween.
It is the month of Halloween, and we have an entertaining show for you. But first off, we have a show for you. But
there you go.
First, I would like to ask Aroa or Connor, where can we find you guys?
You could go to Aroa.website, which will then take you somewhere else. I don't know where. My dealer doesn't tell me what its connection is. And then that has all of our relevant social media links. Some of those links I'd like to draw your attention to is either Clinton's Core Classics, a Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition actual play podcast, or Bug City Blues, a 6th World Shadowrun actual play. 6th World Edition. I haven't said that one enough times. It's not as off the back of the hand as the other one is.
Boy, oh boy, that is an awkward thing to say.
Yes.
Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6th World Edition actual play podcast. No, it's not so bad. Just gotta slow down.
Would it be better if you took out edition and just said 6th World Actual Play Podcast?
Yes, but it's the 6th World Edition. That's its formal title.
That's so weird. Oh well. Anyway, it's fun. We're not releasing those weekly. Not yet, at least, right?
I don't think I'll ever be doing this. Like, the amount of editing I'm doing in Bug City Blues as opposed to Rune Lords is total day and night.
Is that because you want it to be more professional, or is it because you want it to be, or there's just too many like people in there and you're just trying to make it more concise?
So there are a couple of variables that are adding to the additional time needed to edit this. One of them is the fact that we have a whole nother line of cast that needs to be included. Is, much as we're still recording in roughly the same time period, having that extra person's just yet another person that you got to clean up.
Yeah.
Other factors include the fact that Rune Lords, our episodes were very open and close, and usually they tried to end you on a cliffhanger. And Bug City Blues, I'm trying to keep everything a little more self-included. Not that there won't be multiple episodes to stories, but like our recording sessions, that's usually one episode right there, instead of breaking it into two.
Interesting.
For example.
My suggestion is quit your job and just rely on the income we're making from Bug City Blues.
But that's zero.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot about that. We need to start stepping up our game and getting income coming in.
So tune into
Live in a big
Patreon.
city, just turn to a life of crime.
Oh yeah, we could just start robbing. What? Why were you robbing this bank? Well, we've been playing a lot of Shadowrun, and
I've been listening to a lot of Shadowrun lately. I didn't lose track of what was real or not, but you know how it gets, man, when the trids get to you.
Yeah. But anyway, you can find all of all of our social media links on Aroa.website. But for me, you can find me mainly on Twitch, twitch.tv/Reetin. However, I'm not going to be there for the next 3 weeks. I'm just not going to be streaming because I'm going to be away. This week, I am going to, I don't know why they decided to, they have like an IT summit they're trying to do every year. And they decided to do it this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I fly to Japan. So it's going to be a lot of travel. And last week was also a lot of travel. We'll talk about that after we talk to Aroa about what games he's played this week.
Hey, yeah, games.
Did you play any games? You played Took Cold Showers. I hear that was an awful game.
Oh yeah, I haven't had hot water in like a week. It's been great. Yeah, and then I decided Hey, you know what would be fun is if I play one of my favorite Sonic games because it just got a new update that adds like a ton of they aren't saying it, but it's very obvious that it's all the like cut content from the last chapter of the game,
Uh-huh.
just kind of arranged in a different way. But at the same time, it appears that like while they were working on this, a bunch of the developers behind the scenes read a lot of the negative reviews of the game and were just like, "Hey, you little motherfuckers, I'll show you what a fucking hard Sonic game looks like, you little bitch. You little fucking whiny bitch, I'll show you." And so they made everything as fucking stupidly hard as possible. Like the all the enemies just out in the open world are much harder than they are in the end game of the normal game. Uh, all of the platforming is much more difficult than it was in the base game. And like to the degree of I spend 5 minutes roughly climbing up this big tower of shit, and then whoops, I missed a jump, or I don't really understand what I'm supposed to be doing to succeed in this segment. And I fell, and now I have to do the whole thing all over again because this game hates me. Um, and like compare that to the normal game, it had very long platforming segments where you were climbing up these towers. In the next to last chapter, like that was the whole thing. It was just a series of platforming challenges. But like in most games like this, you reached checkpoints along the way where you would create a shortcut to let you get up to where you were. They they had they these new challenges are harder than all of those that were in the normal game, and none of them have checkpoints. And it sucks.
I'm sorry. I read after we had spoken about this, because you had mentioned this in the Discord. I went on Twitter and I was just scrolling through Twitter, and one of the people I follow, Lonely Goomba, was also complaining about the difficulty in the Sonic Frontiers game.
It is absolutely insane. And like I was reading in the discussion board because I was like, okay, am I just stupid?
Yes.
Like, am I just this bad? And the Steam discussion board is just full of people complaining about the difficulty, and a lot of them were complaining about. So there are also, when you get to the top of these towers to complete the challenges, there are then combat challenges at the end of at the top of each of these towers, which is this is a completely new thing. Um, they did not have any kind of setup like this before, and it's like the first one reduces all of your stats down to the minimum,
Uh-huh.
and then gives you an absurdly short time limit to kill 6 max level basic enemies with no you like come in with maximum rings, but whenever you get hit you lose something like half of your rings at first, and then if you get hit again you lose all of them. Like you basically lose 200 rings all at once, and you have a max of 400. So
Okay.
you have like 2 or 3 hits to get through this challenge, and you have to do it within an absurdly short length of time. That alone took me, I don't even know how many tries, but I did finish it. And then the next challenge is one where you cannot beat it normally. It is another combat challenge, but it's 4 of these enemies that have a particular attack that requires you to parry in such a way that I don't think anyone in normal gameplay would do this. It's almost more of a combat puzzle. And it was cool once I figured it out, but it was so ungodly frustrating trying to figure it out. that I fully understood why people were complaining about it. Um, and then like the third one was nothing, and the fourth one really wasn't bad either. The fact that people were complaining about those was just ridiculous. And then there's a fifth one, which is the thing that you have to complete to unlock the new or what appears to be a new supersonic form. Whether it's like a throwback to hypersonic or what, I don't know. And it is just like uh, it's beyond anything that I would have expected. It sucks so very much. Um, so you have to beat all four of the normal game bosses, the supersonic fights, in a row, including the segment before you actually fight the boss, where you have to run up and get the Chaos Emerald, which essentially means you have more platforming challenges that you have to do before you get to the boss. Except there are no rings, so you cannot collect any rings throughout the course of this. And while you're supersonic, your rings are constantly draining. And also your stats are all set to the minimum. So your maximum rings is set at 400. So you start out with 400 rings, you have 4 bosses, and you drain rings at 1 ring per second, meaning you have 400 seconds to beat all of these bosses.
As long as you
And
don't
on
get
top of
hit.
and on top of that, so you have to fight all of these with a new mechanic wherein your parry ability, normally whenever you parry, you just hold down the shoulder buttons, and Sonic is in a parry stance for like maybe 2 seconds tops. Like it is very easy, admittedly. Like it's just dumb. Um, and in some cases you can just hold it forever. It's kind of weird, but they have removed that. You can only perform perfect parries, which now brings it to the level of I have an easier time completing this parry move in like a Dark Souls game, because the range of time where you can successfully do a perfect parry is literally like maybe 5 or 6 frames, like tops. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it would be one thing if this were a game like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance or like a Bayonetta or something like that, where like the attacks are very obvious when they're going to hit. Or a Souls like, of course. But there isn't that. You have this like indicator that's like a weird staticky wavy line showing whenever an attack is going off, but it does not indicate how long from when that indicator comes up to when the actual hit is. Like the first boss has an attack where he does this fucking spin animation, and the actual hit comes almost a full second after the spin animation starts. So you just have to learn that, and you have to press the parry buttons right as that moment comes, or else you get knocked back and you lose like 5 or 6 seconds. And what's worse is that at least the second boss, to a lesser degree the first boss, but on the second boss, you cannot beat that boss without parrying. It is impossible, because when he has 2 phases that you jump between, one where you have to parry a missile, and then after you parry the missile, you fly in, and then you have to parry a melee attack. And if you miss that melee attack parry, you get knocked back to phase 1.
I see.
It's
Did
it's
you
fucking ludicrous.
have you beaten it?
No, I've
Ugh.
gotten to the third boss, and I got the third boss down to about half health, and then I ran out of rings. I am slowly learning how to cheese the combat, which is essentially just you do 2 normal attacks, and then you do this kick attack that does way more damage than everything else, and it doesn't do very well for building up a combo, but that matters so much less than just making sure that you're doling out damage as quickly as possible. And it's like the most significant thing in all of that is that if you get hit a single time during that platforming segment before the boss fight starts, you lose all your rings. So then you're done. It's over. So
So you
so you have
didn't
to do
have
half
fun.
of each boss fight without getting hit, period. And then you have to do the rest of it while having like a very, very small amount of leeway. Maybe you can get hit 3 or 4 times per boss fight maximum. And like it's absurd. It's just absurd.
Yeah.
Like the difficulty spike is insane. I finished the base game on hard, barely fucking broke a sweat. I think I may have failed in combat once or twice throughout the entire fucking game. And
Now you're just showing
this
off.
this
Yeah.
DLC, but it's Baby game.
It's a
He's
Sonic
Sonic the
game.
Hedgehog. I'm not playing fucking Devil May Cry or fucking Dark Souls 7.
I was gonna
Like I'm playing.
I was gonna make that joke and say, man, it's really nice that they got a guest director Miyazaki to come in here and finish
Well,
up the game.
Now I'm looking
like
here on the box art. It does say getting over with Sonic the Hedgehog. I feel like you should have been expecting this a little bit.
Yeah.
that was seriously like, so before I got to the actual boss fight, I posted a complaint on the Steam forums, and it was like half me just joking around, but also me being like, Jesus fuck. Uh, and I said, like, it's as if they're trying to make some sort of strange and devilish homage to Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Because, like, particularly those platform segments where it is several minutes that you are going up these, honestly, in some cases, really just jankily thrown together levels, if you could call them that, just series of platforms. And then if you fuck up a single time, or heaven forbid the camera does something weird, or you go to homing attack something and it just doesn't go right because it's still Sonic Frontiers. It's still really janky. I didn't even go into the fact that you have 3 other playable characters, Amy, Knuckles, and Tails, and Knuckles' gliding feels like you're trying to drive a car in GTA 4 in the air.
Oh man.
Like, it's
It's great.
absolutely
Gotcha.
awful.
Perfect. It's very good. It's like LA Noir. The
I
driving sections in LA Noir. It's fantastic.
I do not know how they fucked that up so bad whenever Knuckles controlled perfectly in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. And I think even Sonic 06's Knuckles sections were fine. I don't remember having that kind of trouble where, like, it's like it's like they tried to make it realistic. Where, like, yeah, if you were, like, trying to steer a paper airplane, it would be pretty hard. But it's like, but it's Knuckles. Like, Tails controls pretty much fine. It, and Amy has a sort of like, it's more of like a Princess Peach glide sort of thing to her, which she also has like a card fighting like she fights with giant cards that look like Nights into Dreams references, and I don't know why, but like all of that is fine.
It's for me. I'm
Knuckles
the
just
one
got
Nights into Dreams
shafted.
fan out there.
Yeah, like seriously, that's I don't know what's up with that, but
I don't know anyone else who actually likes that game but me.
What game?
Nights into
Nights into
Dreams.
Dreams.
Never played it.
Fucking love Nights.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like they're like 5 people out there.
Yeah,
You're-
there's a few.
you have some company. I've never played it, but it just doesn't look all that interesting. But anyway,
Me neither.
uh,
So
yeah,
you did not have fun with this particular DLC.
I was having a pretty good time, and I still want to get through it because I love still like just the story and the mood, just like the overall tone of the game feels great. And everything about this update slash DLC feels like a sort of demo for the next game because there are new cyberspace levels with, as far as I can tell, brand new level design. Like, it's not recycled shit from Sonic Generations.
Good.
and it's all really cool. There are new ideas in those where like you have to collect uh instead of it just being like find the hidden rings, it's uh complete this segment collecting all of these rings as you blast through it, or collect these rings in a particular order. So it's like a difficult challenge mid-level instead of just like awkwardly digging around looking for these rings that could be down one arbitrary path or another. Like that shit's really cool. That level again is fucking hard as balls, but at least it's fun.
Yeah.
The combat challenges are not fun because the combat just isn't very well made. So, yeah. And then I took a bit of a break by playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution.
Good. I'm
Is that
happy
a
to
mobile game? My coworker's been
No,
playing some card game on his phone.
he's
It looks entertaining.
he's probably been playing I think it's Duel Links, which is
Maybe.
like a weird like it's Yu-Gi-Oh but with a very stripped down set of cards, and also like you pick a character and the character has a special ability that they can activate. It's like they tried to Hearthstoneify
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh. It's weird. There is another one that's I haven't heard as much about it, but I think it's a lot more like pure Yu-Gi-Oh. But this seems like something that was probably on like the Xbox uh Live Arcade or something, because it has a help and options menu, which like that's classic Xbox Live Arcade. But it has like 10,000 cards in it, because it goes all the way from original Yu-Gi-Oh up to I think the current anime series, and you can play through all of the major like duels in the anime using the historically accurate decks of each of the characters in each duel. So like the first duel is Yugi and Kaiba dueling, and obviously if you're Yugi you fucking destroy Kaiba, but then like you can also, after you finish that fight, then you can swap it, and then you're playing as Kaiba facing Yugi, and your win condition becomes destroy Yugi's life points before he gets Exodia.
That's
I
that's the way that I would make a Yu-Gi-Oh game. Like, I'm just in general not very interested in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I am pro letting your nerd flag fly. Like, if that's your thing, more power to you. And if I were interested in playing a game like Yu-Gi-Oh, I kind of would want to do the chronological settings. Like, if I were to go to play a Magic game or a Pokemon card game, hell yeah, I would totally be pro what the yearly bracket. I'm not sure what they would call that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I get it. Like, things come out in sets. They
Yeah.
balance
Mhm.
things, they revision things.
Yeah, like old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, a vast majority of I've been watching like a fuckload of Yu-Gi-Oh videos recently for no real reason other than they just fill my brain with noise. But like old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, most of them are just garbage in the current meta. So like and a lot of them are banned now. Like Pot of Greed's been banned for a long time. Like but if you're playing in the original Yu-Gi-Oh setting area, then you have all those things. And like so it's just it's all really cool, and I'm doing it purely for like nostalgia purposes. I don't get like current playing card or trading card games really, but it was $10 and it seemed fun. So,
I I still have no idea what you're talking about, so we're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk to Connor about what games he's played this week, considering it's been 25 minutes,
look,
and
I'm sorry.
we've
You
had
asked me
a.
about Sonic.
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
go on for 6 years.
You
I
need to make
promise
YouTube
mine will not
videos.
be nearly that long. You should make YouTube videos. I would watch those.
Yeah.
Mine's short and sweet. You know that Cyberpunk game? Know
Yep.
how they got some DLC for it?
Yeah.
I bought the DLC full price, which is very unusual, very out of character for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started up a new file in Cyberpunk, and I've been having so much ding ding fun that I haven't even started the DLC yet. So I'm not the only person I know who's currently going through and playing Cyberpunk, but I do have a fun little anecdote. I'm the only single person I know who's actually getting able to play Cyberpunk right now. multiple people in multiple discords are all complaining that throughout the weekend they kind of are in the same place at me. They're just working through content to get to the DLC. And every time one of them sits down, they're like, "Oh, I've had to do something with my family. I had to drive my girlfriend somewhere. My kids needed something." I was like, "Man, it's great. Yesterday I almost did nothing but play Cyberpunk. No complaints. Couldn't be happier."
Good.
Sucks to suck, bitch.
Yeah, I have some complaining to do about that. But so Cyberpunk, the update, how do you like it?
They totally reworked the way that like gear and cyberware works, so it took a little bit of relearning. But I am once again at that point where 90% of the fights are over before they even realize what has happened.
Good.
I'm trying my best to do everything that I haven't done before. However, because this is now my 5th playthrough of this game, there's not much I haven't done yet. I'm cycling through most things, but being a sneak ninja is it's what I like to do. If this game had Splinter Cell in front of it, I'd be playing it the exact same way.
Now, with the Phantom Liberty update, made it a little bit prettier. They made it run better. But I'm curious, did they add any new content that you have got into, or
I
are you
got
just?
a
Oh, sorry.
I got a
Go on.
car for free for pre-ordering the game, which is like a muscle car that you could just buy otherwise. And that's fun. Other than that, I don't think I actually have any new content. I have some content from that Edge Runner anime, which I don't remember that being in the game the first time that I played through it. So other than pointing at it and saying, "Oh, look, a reference." It's neat.
That's good. I
There
haven't
is
seen Edge Runners yet. I have it. I just haven't seen it.
I'm 8/10 of the way through with it. I'm almost done. I'll finish it probably when you're in Japan.
Yeah.
It's still a
well,
good
that's good.
game. And that's it. I don't even think I played much Space Station 13 or Battlefield this weekend. I've been glued to Cyberpunk.
Interesting. So we're gonna move on to me, and I played Foam Stars, the beta on
Why?
PS5. Because I got an email that said, "Hey, there's an open beta for Foam Stars," and I didn't have much time, so I decided to drop down and play some Foam Stars, and it was okay. It is that Squid Game I can't remember the name of right now.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Splatoon.
Splatoon. It's Splatoon.
It's good enough.
Yeah. It's a little different. Obviously, the graphics are better, but it's Splatoon, and it's all right.
I
And
mean, I'm not wrong for thinking that Sony's main marketing plan for the last, I don't know, 10 years has just been, what's Nintendo doing? Do that.
yeah, and prettier, and
And
that's it.
prettier, yeah.
It's all the characters are like anime characters.
Yeah.
Like, and so they have very like specific archetypes. Like, this is the guy who likes coffee and talks about coffee all the time while you're playing as him. And
What a well-developed character.
yeah, and it's fine. I didn't not have
So they're
fun
trying
with
to
it.
like also be Overwatch.
Yeah, and it's it's a little different than Splatoon, and each character does have their own like special abilities, but it's pretty much Splatoon, and it's all right. And that's it. That's all I did. That's all I played this week, because I have been working a lot this last week, and I have to say, I don't understand workaholics. I
Why would you want to do this?
I know. I'm like, man, that's fucking awful. I'm making a lot of money right now, but I don't like it. It was Monday and Tuesday I worked 2 15-hour days. Wednesday I worked a 14-hour day, and then Thursday and Friday I worked like 9-hour days. And so it wasn't, that's about 60 something hours of work this week. And included in that was 1,100 miles of driving. So
Decent amount of driving.
a lot of driving, but I do get paid 65 cents a mile. So, and that wasn't too bad to get that. I'm going to get a
So you made like $10,000 off that, huh?
no. Not $65 a mile. I'm probably, that was just for this week. I'm gonna do my expense report for the entire month, it'll probably be around $1,500 in expenses.
Wait, you said 1,100 miles?
1,100, not 11,000.
Okay.
1,100.
So I was joking when I said, "Oh man, you almost made 10,000," but then I was like, "Wait, did he say 11,000 miles of driving?"
That would be
But
insane. I would do nothing.
that'd be a lot.
That would be, yeah. I was already driving a lot. I drove on Thursday. I drove about 5 hours, and then on Friday I drove another 5 or 6 hours for work, just because I've mentioned before, and they could have told us at the beginning of the freaking year, but they didn't. They told us with 2 months to spare, that October 10th, I think, they end support. It's sometime in October. They end support for server 2012. And so,
Uh-oh.
yeah. And so we have a bunch of servers that were on server 2012. And by a bunch, I mean 40.
Mhm.
And so
I'm
they're
willing
like,
to bet you
"Shit."
guys are not the only person in that predicament.
Yeah. And so we have like 60 servers, and 2/3 of them are going to be outdated. We could have updated some of them to 2016, but the system admins just made the decision like, hey, we're going to buy all the servers, we're going to upgrade all the servers. And so we had to go, and I had 9 servers that I had to swap out, and 2 of them didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
What I went to the office and I set up all of the servers, like all except for like 3 servers out of the whole batch were ones that I personally set up. And so they all worked when they left the office. And somehow during shipping, the RAID broke and they could no longer see the RAID controller.
That's
Did the
So,
battery get unplugged?
I'm not sure what happened, but this has happened with 4 of the 40 servers. And so when you get there, in like the configure, you go to configure, and then you go to the bottom, and it's like HPE, blah, 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 whatever. And that option is no longer there for some reason. And on a previous server that we had deployed that this happened to, we brought it back, and our system admin talked with HP. HP sent out a part. Once the part was installed, then everything started working again. Windows was recognized, all of that. But it's a little concerning to me that this has happened to 4 servers, which is bad. I don't like that, because now we've got to redo it. We've got to get that part installed, and then somebody has to take that server up to these locations, which are 3 hours away. And I'm not going to be
somebody,
here.
I assume they mean you. Oh, you're not going to be here.
I'm going to be in Japan. I can't do it. Otherwise, I would like, if my boss was like, "We need you to drive here," I hate being that person, but I'm always the person that's like, "I'll fucking do it. I'll just do it." Okay. Like, I don't like that, but that's kind of how I am. If something needs to be done like that, I'll just volunteer because it needs to be done.
Drives
and
5 hours for work and still won't listen to my podcast. Huh.
I listened to the Reetin Entertainment podcast when I wasn't on it. It's because I'm on it, I think, is why, Connor. Okay? Hearing my own voice is weird.
It's all right. You're only on it like 1/6 of the time. But anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, so somebody's going to have to do that, and again, it's a little concerning to me that this has happened like 10% of the servers that we've deployed. Also, we have to configure them with Windows 20 or Windows 23 or whatever it is, server 23 or 22. But we can't actually put the data on there before we ship them. So we have to put them in there, set them all, like put them in the location, and then transfer the data from the old servers over to the new ones, because PHI. Because
Not even if you like. Oh well, I don't. Can you BitLocker Windows Server? I don't even know. If that's a
you
thing.
can.
I
You
think
can,
you can.
but you can't. You still can't transfer the data legally. You have to have like a certified person in like an armored van or whatever to fucking ship
This
that
is
information. So we have to do it without the information on there before we set it up. It's
you can't like I guess that would be less cost effective because you can't have put the data onto drives and like label them for which bay they go in, and then ship those in an armored truck or whatever, a HIPAA certified truck,
we could
and
do that, but there's
it wouldn't be
we're
cost effective at that
yeah.
point.
And another thing is we can't like what we have to do is we're putting the servers in, we're transferring the data, and we're turning the old servers off.
And then throwing them into a grinder.
Like where somebody's gonna have to go there at some point and grab those old servers.
Yeah, so at the very least, somebody's got to get the drives out of the server and throw those into a grinder.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great. It's enjoyable. But that was my week, and this next week they're doing an IT summit, so I'm not going to be able to stream. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then on Thursday I'm flying to Japan. I did find out that if I really wanted to, I could be part of the Reetin Entertainment podcast because the time that we record the podcast would be 6 a.m. on Monday in Japan time. So if I woke up early, I could technically be on the podcast. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if I hop in. But we're gonna move
you'd
on.
only have like 6 seconds of lag between when you talk and when we hear you.
Oh, I could change the server. I'll change it to the Japan server.
So then there'll only be 6 seconds of lag between when we talk and when you hear us.
Exactly. It would be perfect. We're
Which
gonna
is
move
funny
on.
because that's usually about how long it takes for us to stop talking over each other, anyways.
You got a good point there.
Well, let's move on. We're gonna talk about some news stories that have happened this week. One big
I haven't
one.
even looked at.
One big one I like. I watched a lot of videos on it. Raspberry Pi 5 has been announced, and it's gonna be releasing this month.
So I did read about this.
Yeah.
Does it feel a little mid to you? Because it feels a little mid to me.
For the price, I think it's a little mid.
No, you know what? First off, I think the price is fine.
It's not even that. I think it's just after seeing all of the other SBCs that have come out in response to how big the Pi is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was hoping for something a little more impressive.
I agree with you that it does seem not. I would say it's like higher mid. It's not like right in the middle.
One
but
would expect.
Yeah.
I guess it's just like, yep, it's a spec bump. All right.
Yes, but I might get one. I still might get one because
I was thinking about it.
The thing about Raspberry Pis, yes, the Raspberry Pis have always, ever since the Pi 3, they've always been kind of mid compared to other single board computers. Spec wise.
And that was fine whenever the 4 came out, even because it was still like ridiculously cheap and it was still like competitive. But and maybe I just need to see like actual benchmarks. It's just like from the marketing materials and everything, it just doesn't sound like there's anything about the Pi that makes me go, "Oh, that's so much better than every other SBC." Or like, "Oh, that's a reason to get a Pi."
I think the thing about it for me, and we'll go over some of the specs here in just a second, is that yes, it is kind of mid. You can get a more powerful SBC probably for around the same price, maybe a little bit more, but the software has always been better for the Raspberry Pi, just because so many more people are using Raspberry Pis.
That is a fair point.
It's Linux.
Yeah, it is Linux, but it's just like, when you're using, we're going to be using this Tinkerboard or this Orange Pi or whatnot, and the software just is not as good as a Raspberry Pi 4. Even though the hardware might be better, the software for running emulators and stuff just isn't as good.
More accurately, like you just have better driver support.
Yeah.
Because Adafruit is going to go out of their way to make sure that there is proper drivers for everything, and that they're going to be open source and modifiable.
All right,
Yeah.
that I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a spec bump. I'm trying to look at the exact spec bump, but they don't have them listed here in a very
They
convenient
don't
way.
have a comparison to the RPi 4, but they do say that it's a 16 nanometer, 2.4 gigahertz quad core CPU. Supposedly, it's 2 to 3 times faster than the CPU in the Pi 4, which again is good, but like I'm just not sure how much better that is than
Okay.
competitive.
So they have, I found a chart that's it.
Okay.
The Raspberry Pi 4 has a quad core Cortex A72 at 1.8 gigahertz, and the Raspberry Pi 5 has a A76 at 2.4 gigahertz. But from what I've seen, it is around 2 to 3 times. It's about 2.5 times faster than the old processor. The GPU on the Raspberry Pi 5 was a Video Core 6 at 500 megahertz that supported OpenGL 3.1 and Vulkan 1.0. And the new one is 800 megahertz, so you get a 300 megahertz bump, and you get Vulkan 1.2 and OpenGL 3.1. OpenGL is the same version. They do say that you can run two 4K 60 displays on both the Raspberry Pi 4 and 5, but let me tell you, I've seen videos. Do not run two 4K 60 monitors on the Raspberry Pi. Honestly,
Who's getting that setup and being like, "This will be perfect for my Pi"?
yeah, like the only thing I can think of is if you turn it into like a media client, not a media server, but like a client. So like, say you have an HD TV that's not a smart TV for some reason, and you want to use it to watch like, 4K video or something. Maybe that would work. Still, it still has the 40-pin Raspberry Pi hats. You can now put an NVMe drive in instead of just a micro SD card. So it does support, the Raspberry Pi 5 does support micro SD, just like all the other Pis, but now it also has an SSD hat that you can get for it. So you can get an NVMe drive on that, which will significantly make it faster. The
Well, not
US
just that, but also you have, because it's going to support like file systems that aren't absolute trash,
Yeah.
like like exFAT.
Yeah.
So that'll
Um,
help.
the USB ports are the same, so you get two USB 2.0 ports and two 3.0 ports, but the interface between them is faster. From what I understand, all the USB ports, even the 3.0 ports, would only run at like 300 megs because it was going through like a 2.0 lane or something like that, whatever it is.
It was probably the controller,
Yeah. So the new
'cause
controller
they
in it.
have, yeah, they have their own in-house made IO controller now.
Now they have a better one that can actually run at 5 gigs, 5 gigabits per second for and I think it's on each individual one can run at 5 gigabits per second for the 3.0 ports. So that's really good. I really enjoy that. They also added like an extra camera connector. So they have two camera connectors on the Raspberry Pi 5, and they have a PCI 2.0 times 1 interface. I don't know why it's 2.0, probably for price, but you can now hook up PCI things to it, which is cool. Theoretically, you can hook up new, like, say you needed more USB ports, you could hook that up to the 2.0 interface, and you can also hook up graphics cards, but that's going to take a lot of tinkering to get working. But I've seen people try it. It hasn't quite worked out well. And the only other thing that really matters to anybody is you have a power button now.
Oh,
There's a power button on the Pi.
wow.
Also, you can't get 1 or 2 gig Pies anymore. It's only 4 and 8 gigabytes of RAM, which
I
obviously,
understand. I
yeah,
get it. It's time.
yeah. Move on.
It's weird that they still have spots on the board to configure it for 1 or 2 gigs.
So those aren't actually hooked up to anything.
No, I know. They're just jumpers. You put a resistor between them, but it's just weird.
Yeah, those are just to like be able to look and be like, oh, I have the 8 gig version or whatever.
Well,
And
it probably tells something on something else in the chip
mhm.
what it's configured for, because there is a resistor that goes between them. It's not just like
Interesting.
a wire or something.
Now, if you also look at number 4, the picture number 4 there, you can see that it actually comes with active cooling as well.
Oh, it comes with that.
Yeah, that is
That's
included.
cool.
Because apparently it actually puts out a lot of heat, so they have an active cooling fan that comes with it.
Is
Well,
this
even
an issue
my
with this new board, or have pies been overheating recently?
my
Uh,
3 has always had problems with overheating.
yeah, they've had problems with overheating since the 3. I think a lot of times people just get the like just passive cooling things and pop them on there, and that'll
Mhm.
work. But I've seen like little tiny baby like actual heat sinks with the fan that you put into them. It's adorable. Like it's like what's it called? It's the very famous one, the Hyper 212. It looks like a miniature version of the Hyper 212 that you can put on the Raspberry Pi 3 and 4.
That's
It's
so silly.
adorable. Um, so
I made the mistake of touching the CPU on my 3 once while it was running. Like it was running like an emulator or something.
yeah.
It fucking hurt. Like it was burning hot.
So right now, the Raspberry Pi 5, because it is in beta, I've seen people try to get certain emulators to work, and like Dolphin isn't working at all, it's just not launching. What I'm hoping is that the Raspberry Pi 5, with the spec boost that they have, can play like PS2 games. That's what I'm kind of aiming for with the Raspberry Pi 5. And
Is
I don't know,
there
huh?
Can you run PS2 emulation on Linux?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, you can. And they have a version of PCSX2, I think, and then they also have Dolphin on there. It's not launching
Oh
right now.
yeah, PCSX2 has a fucking RetroArch core now. That's right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that. It looks good. I'm probably gonna pick one up. I think it's $100 for the 8 gig version. I'm trying to find the pricing right now, but
Yep,
I'm
it's $80.
oh for the 8 gig. That's not bad.
Yep,
I
60
mean,
for the 4 gig, 80 for the 8 gig.
I know that they wanted to stick with that $35 price tag for the longest time, but
Ooh,
I understand that they need to raise the prices, and
so
80
so
gigs is not bad.
there's a full spec sheet on or well list, I guess, on raspberrypi.com
Okay.
it has a couple of extra things.
Oh,
It
good.
has a built-in HEVC decoder that can do 4K 60 FPS,
Yes.
That's cool.
which yeah, that is nice. It's got dual band AC Wi-Fi, which like it should. Supports Bluetooth 5. The USB 3 ports support simultaneous 5 gigabit per second operation.
Yep.
Gigabit Ethernet has PoE Plus support, but requires a separate PoE Plus hat. And then you have the 2x4 lanes, MIPI camera slash display transceivers, the standard 40-pin GPIO header, PCIe 2.0 times 1, a real-time clock, and like you said, the power button.
Yeah, the
But
power button's fun.
having the built-in video decoder is cool because I think the 4 had that. Um maybe, but I know that it wasn't like fantastic. So
I know it
I've
also One thing not mentioned that I've seen is it has like better crypto scores. Not for like crypto mining necessarily, but for like encryption stuff.
Yeah, which
Um,
is good.
so like,
Maybe that means that the CPU has a built-in hardware encryption
yeah,
thingy.
it'll be good. It'll be fun to use. Hopefully, I don't know what we would do with it. Maybe you'll swap out your server for a Raspberry Pi, host
I
Castopod.
I don't
I
think
would
anyone's gonna do that.
I would consider using one for like my security cameras,
Yeah, I would
only
use it.
because I'm currently using the only GPU that will fit in there right now to do the video decoding. And if this has a built-in decoder, that would be cheaper than having to figure out some way of getting a different GPU in there.
Mm-hmm. I have other GPUs. Do you want an Intel A380?
The problem isn't that I don't have the GPUs because I still have the whatever it was you sent me,
Oh
like a
yeah,
960 or something.
yeah. I got you a 960.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I still have that. It's just that there's no room in the server.
Oh, that makes sense.
Uh, it needs a low profile. It has one normal size slot, but that's already taken up, and the other slot needs a low profile card.
Oh, you're gonna have to buy
So
like one of those A2000 cards for like
e-
$600.
either that or see if I can get like a super low profile like 1050 or something.
I think I saw a low profile 3060 come out recently. But we're going to
That
move on and we're going
maybe
to talk about our
yeah.
next story. This is something that one of you guys brought up. It was Aroa.
Oh
Um,
me.
it was Aroa. It was the Reddit gaslights its users about ads.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze.
I got an email saying, "Hey, we've updated some settings that you were previously using," and I was like, "Do what now?" I was using
Yeah.
settings,
So
and here we go. They're
the
changing things for the worse.
yep. So the main thing, so that they're changing several things about primarily ad personalization stuff. So like the way that they use your data to market at you, which like if you've been on Reddit ever without any kind of user script or ad blocker, whatever, to remove ads on Reddit, then you know that their ad system doesn't work very well at all.
No.
Um, and it's really annoying, and the ads are all stupid. Well, I guess to try to fix that, they're going to be removing the ability to opt out of ad personalization based on your Reddit activity. So they say here Reddit requires very little personal information, and we like it that way. Our advertisers instead rely on platform activity, such as what communities you join, leave, your upvotes, your downvotes, and other signals to get an idea of what you might be interested in. The vast majority of Redditors will see no change to their ads on Reddit because they weren't opted out. For users who previously opted out of personalization based on Reddit activity, this change will not result in seeing more ads or sharing on platform activity with advertisers. It does enable our models to better predict which ad may be most relevant to you. In other words, saying that they're going to track your on platform activity and then sell the results that they get from their tracking models to ad buyers. Like
Man, I
it's
hate that.
them trying to act like, nah, guys, it's it's not even a big deal. It's just that too many of you are seeing way too cheap of ads because
Listen,
we can't properly track you. And so we're just gonna turn that off. You're just gonna see the ads that you should see. And so their consolidation for this is that they are adding the ability to opt out of very particular ad categories. except it's not actually opting out. It's they're going to add the ability to see fewer ads from specific categories, such as alcohol, dating, gambling, pregnancy and parenting, and weight loss. And they say it's fewer because they're utilizing a combination of manual tagging and machine learning to classify the ads, which won't be 100% successful to start, but we expect our accuracy to improve over time. And if it doesn't, then we'll just release another thing later on saying we're sorry, and then it'll get better. And then maybe it'll get better and maybe it won't, but it doesn't matter because as long as you keep using our service, you consent to this. So go fuck yourself.
And
We need to make money so that we can launch an IPO.
yeah, this reminds me of Twitter with Twitter Blue, where one of the settings is you see, or one of the reasons why you would get Twitter Blue is you see less ads.
Yeah.
Like you're paying $8 a month, but they're still like, hey, you're gonna see 50% of the ads as other people probably. Trust us, it'll be 50%, and it's dumb, and I hate ads. But I understand why they have ads, because it's a free service and they need to make money. But on the other hand, I don't like this particular way of going about it.
You can't I even opt out of tracking if you're paying for Reddit. Because you can pay for Reddit. You
Can
can
you?
pay for Reddit Gold. Yeah.
Oh,
It's $8 a month.
why is it always $8 a month? Jesus, that's a
God,
lot of money.
good question. But yeah, like it should be that. But no, they want to double dip on everything.
Yep. I don't like it, and I wonder if they are going to like add another tier where it's like 10 or $15 a month to actually get rid of ads.
So I will use this opportunity for all of our listener out there to let you know there are extensions available for your web browser on your mobile device or otherwise, which will let you remove stuff like ads and make Reddit a little more usable. The one that I'm using is called Sinkit for Reddit. It's SINKIT. Um, it is a picture of an anchor. Because I refuse to use the official Reddit app because all that does is just give them more ways of tracking you. So I just use the web browser version, but the web browser version doesn't let you view adult content, even if it's stuff like, oh, they said too many naughty words on this Reddit, so we flagged it at 18 plus. It doesn't let you view that in your web browser. You have to use the app
Oh,
for
that's
no real
weird.
reason other than just they know that a lot of the 18 plus content is porn, and so they want you. They know that they can railroad you into using the uh, the app by taking that away from you. So I've got that on my phone. I've been using that to make Reddit a little more usable. But otherwise, I've been spending a lot more time on 4chan, funnily enough.
It's all circling back. People are using 4chan. People are pirating stuff again. It's almost like
Yeah,
everything's getting worse.
I did some torrenting last night, funnily enough, and that was after this was public torrents. Because I just have a VPN as part of my mail subscription because I pay for Proton Mail.
Oh, nice.
But I was torrenting some stuff because I tried to pay for it and I couldn't pay for it. It just didn't work. So I was like, okay, fine, fuck it, I'll just steal it. I tried.
I tried, yeah. And then there's some stuff that you just can't get. Like,
Yeah.
there's some stuff that's not available, and I've read, especially with like video games, where the developers are like, hey, if you can buy it, please pay for the game. But sometimes the game isn't available in your area, and just pirate it. You'll be fine. Like, we understand. And I think it's the same way with like movies and stuff, where Actually, it's not. The corporations are like, what? You can't get it? Then don't. You can't watch it. Don't pirate it. We will
Yeah.
sue you.
Yep.
Um,
That's why I'm using a VPN. Not
exactly.
sponsored by Proton VPN because they don't pay for sponsorships for some reason.
Interesting. We're gonna move on to the next story, though. We spoke about this a while back. That it was in development, and I'm actually shocked that it's going to release. Or I don't know.
I forgot about this.
I know. I don't know what how far along in development, but it's technically going to release. Peter Molyneux's blockchain game arrives next month, just in time for NFTs to be completely worthless. Just in time. They've always been completely worthless.
Yeah, but now like they're verifiably worthless.
Like there are like crypto, like Bitcoin and everything. Like, you know, we all have bought some like Doge and stuff in the past. But
fucking speak for yourself.
Aroa and I have bought Doge and stuff in the past.
I did buy Doge.
But NFTs have always just been like, anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together has looked at it and been like, wow, that's stupid. That is that, and like all of the companies were like, oh, we're gonna invest in NFTs. This is the next big thing. And anybody who wasn't in that position was like, no, that sounds terrible. What are you doing? So Peter Molyneux is releasing a new game. It's called Legacy. Apparently, it was teased by the veteran developers studio 22 Cans, which I'm shocked that 22 Cans is still around.
I wonder how many people they have on their payroll. If it's just Peter Molyneux.
I don't know. I know
there should technically be 22 people.
You would think
but
so.
I think several members left.
Yeah. Back in 2017, it was announced before making a fuller reveal in late 2021. That reveal accomplished the sale of so-called land NFTs for real-life money.
Oh, that's how they're still in business.
Anyway, the game's own Ethereum-based Legacy coin. Oh, good. They have their own coin. That always turns out well. Just like that Logan Paul scam that they did a while back.
Just keep putting all of these coins on the Ethereum chain and up the gas price even more. Yep, this is great. This is such a great platform.
It was built with the help of Web3 company turned game publisher Gala Games. Gala? As you might remember, you probably don't remember, this was during the boom of certain internet people and video game publishers deciding that digital receipts for JPEGs of cigar smoking apes, terrible avatars, tweets, and Ghost Recon cosmetics were worth thousands to millions of pounds, and sinking their life savings into paying for pictures that others could happily right-click and save to their own desktop if they really wanted to.
Boy, did we.
Please don't right-click on this cigar-smoking ape. Please don't do that.
No, my apes, they're worthless.
Yeah.
My apes.
Remember when they were going to make a Bored Ape movie?
Now.
To, like, flaunt their own bullshit?
They did they made, like, a cartoon.
This is all from Rock, Paper, Shotgun, by the way.
There were, like, 3 episodes. It was awful.
Yeah. Almost
what
2
else
years.
It gonna be?
Almost 2 years later, Legacy is now due to release on PC and Mac October 26th. Gala Games' announcement reads like the breathless hype familiar to anyone who has subjected himself to blockchain press releases over the years, promising that Legacy's launch is more than just a game release. It's the beginning of an extraordinary journey where creativity, strategy, and business innovation meet. This sounds
it is.
terrible. Please don't please don't
Watch
pay for it.
Turn out to just be a glorified idle game.
That's all it's gonna be.
And you'll just, it'll probably be like this shitty fucking Chinese mobile game that I've been playing for the past few weeks. Where, like, it is literally just it's an idle game, but with a fuckload of microtransactions. I
don't see any like gameplay, which is concerning, right? All you know about this game is that they sold land NFTs in the game, and that it's on some sort of Ethereum crypto coin that they created. This is just like, just like that zoo thing that Logan Paul came out with, where it's just a way for them to funnel money into their pockets, and Logan Paul should be in prison. I truly believe that Logan Paul and possibly anybody who has done a scam like this should be in prison right now.
You can look at the available land on the OpenSea secondary market. So let's see here. We've got a Shakespearean country house, which is common. So these are like trading cards. It's
Imagine living in a
0.04
common level
Ethereum.
house, by the way.
Yeah.
Like you go to show it off and be like, yeah, you know, it's about average. It's my neighbor, he's got a blue door on his house. I mean, it's a little more valuable.
Some of these things are in Gala coin, which I don't know. I'm guessing that's Gala's own Ethereum based token.
Yeah, that's what I believe that's what that is. But they say it's legacy coin.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure they do.
So there's legacy coin in the in-game currency, but then you can buy stuff with Gala coin or Ethereum through the second hand market on OpenSea, because they're still NFTs, which means that you can sell them through other platforms as long as they are attached to the blockchain.
Uh-huh.
I hate all of this. I just want you to know. This isn't a game. It's not going to be a game. It's just going to be a fucking idle thing that's shitty.
The question I keep on trying to find the right words to phrase, I think, is what's the difference between an NFT and an in-game currency at that point? Other than, oh, I could buy it, I don't know, on a shitty Chinese app.
Oh dear God!
I would imagine it's more or less like a cosmetic thing, like buying maybe a skin in CS:GO or something.
So you make products, quote unquote products, in this game.
Uh-huh.
And then sell them in the game. So it's like you're making in-game NFTs and then selling them to other players for the in-game currency.
I see.
My name's Peter Molyneux, and I'd like to know who out there wants to make me money.
It's like, yeah, because like, so just from what the page, and I'm on playlegacy.game. You essentially design like it's kind of a different way of doing the Spore. You remember how in Spore you could like make new buildings and vehicles and stuff by like dragging parts?
Yeah,
It's that, but with like whatever. So you're like doing that, and then you can like design buildings and shit, and then you sell those things to other players for the currency. And I guess like the currency would get made by people spending real money to buy like land and shit. And like the land will produce the materials that you use to. They're trying to like recreate an IRL economy using NFTs inside this like self-contained blockchain. I won't lie, it's a really cool idea until you start talking about real money being involved, and people dumping hundreds of thousands of actual dollars into what is ostensibly just bullshit fucking like Babby's first Blender project garbage.
I remember this was about a decade ago now when Diablo 3 came out. And remember they had the auction house
Yeah.
That like it was when it was announced, and I was talking to a friend of mine who really liked Diablo. And I was like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna have an in-game auction house where you can like auction off like your items and make real money." And he's like, "I'm gonna make so much money." And I had to tell him that no, you're not. You're not gonna make any
Oh,
money off of this because you're
oh
gonna
my
spend
God,
hundreds of hours.
this is a
And
pyramid scheme.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
No,
It's
this is literally a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
yeah.
So landowners have the power to hand legacy keys to others, making them your business partners and providing a doorway into legacy in return for a healthy share in all the legacy coin they earn.
So what you're telling
It,
me? No, they have a product. So
it's an
an
MLM.
MLM. It's an MLM, which we all know that MLMs are just
Are
pyramid
definitely
schemes.
different from pyramid schemes.
They're just pyramid schemes.
I would name my legend or whatever you call it, like Cutco or something. Be like really on the nose about it.
Yeah, it's
Vector knives.
it's not good. Don't play this or
Oh
download it.
my!
I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
I'm gonna have to see after October 26th. I'm not gonna download it, but I'm gonna look on YouTube and see if anybody actually downloaded this game and see
So
what it's about.
the cheapest building, because I forgot to finish this. The cheapest building is $67 currently.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
I play
Yeah.
Warhammer. That's an acceptable entry level.
Um, I can't. I don't know how much Gala coin is worth, but let's do this enterprise deed because this looks like something where you'd be able to produce stuff on this. So let's go with that, and that is 0.134 Ethereum. So 0.134 HTUSD. And that is not what I asked. 0.134. That's $227.
It's telling
Ugh.
me that it is 1.4 cents
Oh,
for
the
a
Gala
coin.
coin?
For the Gala coin, yeah.
And then the firm deed, that is 54 Ethereum. Looks like somebody recently bought one of those for 275 USDC. Which that I thought USDC was supposed to be what the hell are those called? Essentially they're equal in value to the US dollar because they use the US dollar as the source of their worth.
I
But according to Bing, 50 or 0.54 Ethereum is $916.
Interesting.
Stablecoin, that's what those are called.
Yeah.
Ripple is one of those. Um,
Yeah, they try
yeah,
keeping it
you
at
ain't
like
getting me to
$1.
spend $1,000 on a video game, ever. It's never happening. I'm never doing that.
Yeah. $300 maybe, but not not $1,000.
How much did you say the Galacoin was worth?
1.4 cents.
1.4 cents. So, well,
What it looks like.
that's so I just take a couple zeros off. You're looking at $8,000 for a conglomerate deed, which is
No.
a legendary plot.
No.
And it looks like no one has bought several of these like more fancy looking ones, or maybe that means that there aren't any available on OpenSea because no one's bought them directly, or at least no one's tried to resell them.
There's part of me that says, there are people who are going to be like, "Oh, I can make money off of it." Like my friend, who's an idiot, that he's like, "I'm going to make money off Diablo 3." There's people who are going to think to themselves, "Oh, I can make money off of this game." And if you're in that position, part of me feels bad for you because you're getting sucked into something that you really shouldn't be. But another part is like, yeah, I mean, it's an obvious scam. Like it's obvious. Like there have been other things that have come out in the last like 3 years, like this game with NFTs that have clearly shown that NFTs in and of themselves are scams. So at this point, if you're buying into it, like I feel bad for you, but you should know better, right? Like you should know better at this point. But we are going to move on to our last story, and we're going to talk about another scam.
Yeah.
Tinder is charging $499 per month for a new subscription called Tinder Select. I read about this a little bit before you post. I think Connor posted it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I did not actually read the article because
Yeah.
I'm not very interested in it. But I saw the headline and my eyebrow nearly shot through to the second floor.
Like, there was a time, about 3 or 4 years ago when I was single, and I did not pay for Tinder Gold or whatever it was, because it was like $20 a month, and I was like, I don't know if I need that. But $500 seems a bit much for.
Does it say in the article what exactly this service does, other than obviously make you at the top of every bot's swiping list?
Let me just read through this article. It's from TechCrunch, which I tend not to go to. I don't like their layout anymore. It includes unique perks like the ability to be seen by more users, including Tinder's most sought-after profiles. The
What does
ability
that even mean?
Oh, this is a bad one. The ability to direct message others without matching them.
No, don't like that.
And other VIP level features. The news was
This is just creeper mode.
Yeah, the features alone aren't necessarily what sells Tinder Select. Instead, it's the exclusivity. Tinder says that less than 1% of users will be allowed to gain access to this premium product, and members can choose to display their status with an exclusive Select badge on their profile. Oh, good. So people will know to not swipe on that.
I spent $500 for my booty calls.
No.
This
No.
This sure does reek of Twitter's getting away with people paying for Twitter.
Yeah.
We can make people pay big money to look like a dog ass on fucking Tinder.
Inspiration for this members-only club within Tinder comes from Match's July 2022 acquisition of another high-end dating app, The League, which could cost users up to $1,000 per week. If you're paying $1,000 a week, just get a fucking escort. Just
for real,
you
can actually pay for somebody to sleep with you.
That's, if you have the money to pay $1,000 a week for Tinder, I'm sure you could find somebody to just hook up with you.
It isn't hard.
Yeah. During the Q2 2023 earnings, Tinder's CPO Mark Van, that's not a word.
You're right. It's not. It's a name.
It's not a name. It's Risk.
It's his name.
Said the league indicated there was Rizwick. The league indicated there was a market for daters who were willing to pay for quality matches and experiences. But Tinder Select doesn't rely on human matchmakers, nor I guess the league did that. It would try to actually match you up with actual people. Whatever, just get an escort.
Who fucking cares?
It's again, and $500 per month is, it's better than $1,000 a week, but still, it doesn't offer anything that's really worth the cost of $500 per month. Obviously, I can understand Tinder Gold, which I think is is it $20 a month? $20 or $30 a month?
Fuck if I know, man.
I can kind of make the case for
that. I'm not that sad of a person.
I'm not that sad of a person either, but I can kind of make a case for it because, at least in my area, you only get a certain number of matches that you can swipe on in the free version, and then it's like, no, you have to upgrade.
I think that's how it's normally.
Yeah, and so with Tinder Gold, it gets rid of that, and so that kind of makes sense. But paying $500 a month is, it's not worth it. That's about it. It said select members can direct message another member without matching, but only up to 2 times per week, and they can't send a super like at the same time. Plus, some recipients can opt out of receiving DMs. Oh, that's great. The company's website notes, in addition, Select members' profiles will be shown unblurred in the Like You grid in the app for up to 7 days, even if they don't pay for Tinder Gold or even if you don't pay for Tinder Gold or Platinum subscription. So I guess if
No, even if they don't.
the person you matched with, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's like you don't match with them for that. It's that if I remember right, in the Tinder app there is a Like You grid, uh which is people that you haven't matched with yet but have swiped right on you.
Okay.
And normally they are blurred out. But if they pay for Tinder Gold or Platinum, then they show up not blurred out.
No, this is just select. Just select members. Not the gold, I don't think.
Well, no, it's that they gold and platinum, that is also a thing that you can pay for.
Okay. So it's
But
with gold
select
or platinum.
also
Okay.
gives you that because like it fucking better.
Yeah. They select members are also to be shown to Tinder's most sought after profiles, which I don't, so they can enjoy more quality matches. I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
How are you a quality match? I don't
What
anyway,
do they define as an unquality match or a non-quality match?
Yeah,
I bet it's like ratio to like or to dislike.
probably.
Probably. How do you quantify that?
Oh, it's probably how many people swipe
It's just
right
like,
on you when they see you.
yeah, it's just
So
like
if I
you
make a
have a
brand new
95% swipe right rate.
Yeah.
Like if I make a brand new account and I pay for this, what is it going to do to determine that I'm likable or not? It probably just gives it me until people are like, ew.
Well, it just shows you to people who have a like 95% swipe right rate. It
I
it's
don't.
not about, it doesn't make you a highly sought after profile. It shows you two sought after profiles.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to say it makes sense, but I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like they have this like vault of very attractive, definitely real women, and if you pay $500, you get access to the vault, but it's up to
Yeah.
them whether or not they find you attractive.
I don't like this line. It says the new subscription can be stacked with plus gold
Yeah.
or platinum subscriptions to access more features. So you pay $500 a month and you don't get all of the features?
Oh my god, you have to apply for it.
And you have to, yeah, it says to apply for Tinder Select, users must have at least 4 photos, 5 interests, and a bio with at least 15 characters. You have to show relationship intent, be photo verified, and importantly, have way too much money to spend on dating apps. If approved, they'll receive an in-app message to alert them, as well as an email with unique unlock code. Don't do this.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it.
This seems like it's a money laundering scheme.
We are
I
gonna
wonder if they only approve, or like their plan is to only approve like really desperate people.
I am going to start a Patreon, the Reetin Entertainment Patreon, and one of the tiers is going to be $500 a month, and I will send you 10 text messages a day. I will pretend to be interested in you.
I will Google image search attractive women and send them to you in text messages and pretend to be them for a few minutes.
I will have
Every
a
day.
separate tab open in ChatGPT where whatever you say, I will send it to that and send it back whatever it says. I may or may not be doing that with a couple of people already.
It says Tinder Select isn't expected to attract but a small number of subscribers. I fucking hope so. The feature's price tag could boost Tinder's bottom line at a time when Tinder has seen a decline in paying users, which dropped 4% year over year to 2.5 million. I mean, it's still a lot of money, right? Like,
yeah,
people paying like $20 a month.
People are always going to be desperate, and
yeah.
Tinder is still like, when you think of online dating, you think of Tinder. Like
It's
that
true.
hasn't gone anywhere. I think there are people who are like they think of Bumble or whatever, but Tinder is still like the de facto standard.
I mean, I'll be honest. That's how I met my girlfriend, was on Tinder. So, it worked out for me, but I didn't pay any money for it
Yeah.
because
That
I'm
came
not an
after.
idiot. Yeah, that came after.
I do think it's interesting that essentially this is a non-gaming company that has discovered that whales exist.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they've always had that though, right? They've always had, like dating apps since like the 90s. I remember, I
Dating
think
apps
Eat
have
Harmony and stuff.
dating apps have always been around. And like oftentimes they'll obviously they'll have some kind of paid tier, but this is so far beyond. This
Yeah.
is the sort of insanity. So like I mentioned that Chinese mobile game. So a lot of those super heavy microtransaction mobile games will have VIP tiers, and you get
Mhm.
VIP experience points by spending money. And some of the players on the wiki, or well, the Discord, uh, figured out that VIP level 6, which is the second highest tier, requires you to spend $1,500.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm saying, is that like like game developers or slash publishers have known ever since microtransactions like became the standard that like there's this very small 1%, like sub 1% group who will spend an absurd amount of money on a
Yeah.
game for no apparent reason.
Just because
And
they like the game.
that's
Yeah.
sure.
Look at not Starfield, the other one, Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Like
We'll
they're
look at NFTs in general,
yeah,
but you know.
Star Citizen is not even released yet. It is going to be in perpetual alpha for the rest of our lives, I think. And people are still spending thousands of dollars on ships that theoretically you can buy with in-game currency.
Well, so I was on the actual like the first party NFT buying page for Legacy, just
Yeah.
before we started the Tinder thing. Uh and you can buy London.
Oh,
There's
good.
only one London. There will only ever be one London. It is the central city and has like everything. It just starts out maxed out. You're the god gamer. It is about $900,000.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
someone bought it.
Don't
I hate that
encourage
they've done
these
that.
people. Don't.
And
Why?
it comes. The great thing is it comes with 100 invites for other losers, and then you have to earn the other 400 that it has available through gameplay.
I understand that people. This person probably thinks they can make money off of this somehow.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
gonna hold
but you
London
can't-
hostage.
If you have $900,000 to spend on something, don't spend it on a fucking game made by Peter Molyneux. Peter Molyneux.
You know what you could spend it on is like
A fucking
stocks.
house.
Or Tinder
was-
Plus. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
900
Like-
the league. $900,000 can get you 900 months of the league. Or 900 weeks, I'm sorry.
seriously, I would even go so far as to say that paying the 500 a month is a better investment overall than putting that into a Peter Molyneux NFT.
You
Because
might
at least there's a chance that you'll find a girlfriend.
or a hookup.
Yeah, or a booty
Any-
call.
Yeah, anything. Like you might have an actual conversation with an actual human being.
At least you could possibly get something concrete out of that instead of just throwing all your money at like a cartoon 3D model of London.
I would love to see like a conversation where the person pays $500 a month and they get a message from somebody that's like, "Oh my god, you paid $500 a month?"
You know that's yeah. Like you're gonna get there are gonna be so many women who get messages from some asshole that is paying for this shit, and then they're gonna screenshot that and their response of, "You seriously fucking paying $500 a month for this bullshit? Like
I
get out my face."
So I would make it when I was on Tinder, what I would do is if I matched with somebody, I would message them once, say hi, how are you doing, blah blah blah, introduce myself, and then I would wait a day or two, and if they hadn't messaged back, I would send one more message, just saying, hey, don't know if you received the last message, blah blah blah, and then I would unmatch.
Don't ignore me.
I didn't want to be the creepy person who just kept messaging over and over again.
Hey,
And so I did that.
hey, you're pretty.
But yeah, I did that with my current girlfriend. I had messaged her once, she didn't reply. I messaged
You
her a
messaged
couple.
her 8 times.
Yeah, I messaged her a couple days later, and we started talking. And one of the first things she said was, she's like, "Oh yeah, those are my kids. They're twins, boy and a girl." And I said, "Twins are the fucking worst," because
Yeah.
I have a twin sister. But I
But he
did
didn't
not.
say that part.
I did not explain that to her, and she kept talking to me.
Well, yeah, because like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So it's don't be creepy on Tinder. At first I was like, oh, it's weird that you can't send pictures on Tinder, and then I thought about it for 2 seconds and was like,
you
no,
wanna see my balls?
No. Yeah, I was like, nah, it's a good thing that you can't.
It's a very good thing, actually.
Hey, pretty lady, you want to see my balls?
Exactly. So don't pay $500. Don't pay $500 a month for Tinder. I would urge you not to even pay for the Tinder Plus or Gold or Platinum, but at least those are fine.
I would invite you to try going outside every once in a while.
No, don't do that. I would encourage you never to leave your house.
Or join a Discord or something.
Something. Something.
But try interacting with other people.
You know what Discord you can join? And you'll be greeted by lots of friendly faces. The
Bug City Blues Discord.
That's unless you created another Discord for the Bug City Blues.
No, that's what people are there mostly.
Yeah,
it's true.
I do love how much you loathe it.
It's mainly me joking around, but I would like somebody to join my Discord and be like, "Yeah, I listen to the Reetin Entertainment podcast," and I'd be like, "Oh yay, it's you."
You'd have to actually market it for that to happen.
We don't really market Bug City Blues though.
We're gonna start though, kind of.
But
I'm not paying.
But also, Bug City Blues at least has the advantage of you can type in probably Shadowrun or something.
Yeah,
and at least it'll show up there.
Yeah. But
no
anyway,
one's gonna type in Reetin because it's not a real word.
It's not. But I would like to thank you for being here, Aroa.
Yep, no problem. I was glad I could yell.
Oh, I did. I will say one time I had somebody who watched a YouTube video of mine and they joined our Discord, which was nice. That did happen. And they made fan art of me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had that happen once too. That was really cool.
Yeah, I was very nice. The person was a nice person. Anyway, thank you for being here, Connor.
I was here.
Somebody will be here next week. I don't know who, but probably not me. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Oh no, I gotta make another intro. Fuck.
Sayonara.